Starting this upcoming school year, over 1 million students will be taken to the field and will be participating in youth sports. And while injuries involving ankles, knees, and shoulders are many times the most visible, head injuries are as prevalent and more detrimental to the long-term health of our young athletes. A concussion is defined as a traumatic brain injury that occurs when the head hits an object or a moving object strikes the head. In years past, the idea of a concussion had much to do with a loss of consciousness for several minutes, causing many people, including nurses and doctors, to classify it as a major head injury. Thus, someone seeing stars or getting their bell rung was considered to have suffered a minor head injury and not a concussion. But those types of conditions are considered concussive events and still can cause major damage to the brain over the long term. Now, let's imagine a young football player seeing stars after a collision with another player or from just hitting the ground. And let's say this happens only once in a game, but happens every game. Typically, there are 10 games in the high school football regular season. Now, how many concussive events would that be in one season? But now let's add that to 4 years of grade school football, or even more. Now we are possibly talking about upwards of 75 concussive events. And remember, this situation is based on this happening only once a game, when in actuality, this happens multiple times to a football player in one game. But it's not just football players or even just boys. Boys and girls playing soccer, hockey, basketball, and other sports experience concussions. And according to medical research, girls take a longer time to recover from a concussion than boys do. As we talk about the effects, it needs to be mentioned that one of the main reasons this has started to receive national attention is due to deaths directly related to a condition called CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy. CTE can result from multiple concussive injuries over a period of time and cause brain degeneration that is most commonly associated with memory loss, confusion, impaired judgment, impulse control problems, aggression, depression, and eventually progressive dementia. There have been 8 suicides in former NFL players that have been directly linked to the effects of CTE. And as of 2013, there were 47 players that were diagnosed with CTE. But CTE does not always result in death. In fact, if detected early, the effects from this condition can be managed with medication and therapy with someone living a fairly normal life. However, from this data presented, it is clear that a fundamental shift in the way youth head injuries are addressed needs to be applied. Without this change, not only are youth in danger of negative long-term effects, but the sustainability of competitive sports could be in question. The good news is that awareness of concussions and its relationship to CTE has been more prominent in the national consciousness over the last few years. And between 2009 and 2013, all 50 states, including the District of Columbia, passed laws on concussions in sports for youth and or high school athletes. Oftentimes, this will be referred to as return to play laws. Most concussion sports laws include 3 action steps. Educate coaches, parents, and athletes. Inform and educate coaches, athletes, and their parents and guardians about concussions through training and or a concussion information sheet. Secondly, remove an athlete from play. An athlete who is believed to have had a concussion is to be removed from play right away. Third, obtain permission to return to play. An athlete can only return to play or practice after at least 24 hours and with permission from a healthcare professional. These action steps have helped young athletes not only become more aware of the dangers around concussions, but become wiser regarding the needed rest and recovery time from a concussion. But with the good news, there is still bad news as well. The culture around how coaches, athletic administrators, and even parents see this injury has been slow to change. Typically, concussions have been, and are still to this day, seen as a phantom injury. The idea of an athlete leaving a game due to seeing stars or having their bell rung have caused many to question the athlete's commitment to a team or willingness to win. Additionally, if a star college athlete leaves a game with a head injury, it could potentially cost that athletic program financially from a notoriety standpoint. Thus, that athlete is encouraged to inhale smelling salts and get back to play despite the fact that they're not ready. This attitude must be altered for the good of the athlete and sustainability of all sports at any level. And I can completely relate to this attitude. As a high school and college athlete involved in football, tennis, martial arts, I have experienced 7 diagnosed concussions, as well as many that were the seeing stars type. Many of those times I was pushed to continue to play as a member of a team, not realizing the long-term effects that these injuries could have on my life. So, what needs to change? It is the way we as coaches, administrators, trainers, and parents see what the potential dangers are in head trauma for our youths. This means getting continually educated and staying aware. Find resources, ask as many questions as possible, and have very meaningful discussions about this problem. There will always be inherent risks in playing sports at any level, and some sports more than others. But by heightening our level of awareness and education, we can hopefully start reducing the risk and increasing safety. This is not meant to discourage people from sport. Sports are a wonderful thing. And I think it is up to us to, like I said earlier, be very aware and be very educated so we can change the culture. That is our call to action. Thank you for your time today. Play hard and play safe. Good night.